Hi everyone, this is Mr. Durst, your instructor for an A&P, and I want to give you a quick video on how to access PhysioX. This upcoming week, week number 3 of the semester, you are going to be using PhysioX for the very first time, so I wanted to give you a little tutorial video on how to access. Here you can see the week 3 lab objective sheet. You're going to be doing PhysioX exercise number 1, activity number 5, simulating active transport. In your lab manual, in the very back of your lab manual for the course, there's some light blue pages. If you go to those light blue pages in the back of your lab manual, you can find page PEX13 and page PEX14. These have the written directions for activity number 5 and also very important background information that you need to read for activity number 5. So as you're going through this, read the background information. We have step-by-step instructions in your lab manual. The background information and instructions are also available in the digital format. Optional review questions for PhysioX are on page PEX13, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 optional review questions. Before you come to your lab section this upcoming week, on week number 3, you need to have these 4 activity questions answered. You also are going to need to fill in the data table that we include on your lab objective sheet. That data table is visible right here. I'm highlighting it right now. So fill in the data table, answer the review questions, and be prepared to show them during lab. This is an assignment to do before you come to lab. During lab, we will be discussing activity number 5. To access PhysioX, if you need help, I wanted to show you step-by-step on how to access PhysioX. So click on the Pearson website link, Mastering A&P, and then from this website you'll click on Sign In. I don't know pop-ups on my computer. You don't need to enable pop-ups for Mastering A&P to work. So you go right at the Sign In page, put in your user or the correct email account that you used for your profile and your password. There we go. And it loads. Now on the right-hand side of your screen, left-hand side of your screen, you click on My Study Area. And then you can access optional resources. There are great flashcards, there are great review videos, pre-lab, post-quizzes. These are a bunch of excellent resources for you to access. You don't have to do these extra resources. The only thing we are assigning for you is PhysioX. So click on PhysioX, and we are going to be doing exercise number 1, activity number 5. Click on activity number 5, and then you have the goals of the activity. We have background information. This background information is also available in writing in your lab manual. These optional review questions you do not have to do. I am not going to be collecting them. At the end of the computer simulation, you're given an option to submit answers to your instructor. You do not need to click submit. I am not collecting them. Please do not email them to me. So click continue, and now you are in the simulation. So it says, let's see, note the number of sodium potassium pumped is 500, increase to sodium concentration to 9 millimolar by selecting the plus button. So let's see here, right next to sodium chloride, I'm going to press plus, 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 plus. We're at 9 millimolar now. And then select the dispense to the left of the beaker to deliver the 9 millimolar sodium chloride solution. So dispense, and it's been magically dispensed into the cell. Lovely. And now we're going to click next. Step 2, increase the potassium chloride concentration to 6 millimolar by selecting the plus button on the potassium chloride display. To be delivered to the right beaker. So key detail here. Pay attention to what side you're on. Is it the cell or is it the right beaker? The beaker's on the right. I had to go to 6. Afterwards, select dispense. So even though potassium chloride was down here, I clicked dispense up here. Now I have my sodium chloride in the cell, potassium chloride in the beaker, and I have dispensed it. And now I'm going to click next. Increase the ATP concentration to 1 millimolar by selecting the plus button above the beaker, and then dispense ATP. and click Next. After you start to run, the solids will move across the membrane. Select Start, Start. And look, time is flying, and we are collecting data. There we go. And then we click Record Data, Next, to get our data points for run number 1. So, guys, gals, I went through a little bit of this. I am not going to click through all the steps. You need to do the activity on your own. I showed you how to get through the first 5 steps. Now you know. So, let's go back to the lab objective sheet. You can take your data and fill in the data table. When you are done with that, you're also going to need to get ready to do some wet chemistry. It's a specific goal of Ms. Laundrich and I to have more wet chemistry and less computer simulations in class. So we have a diffusion osmosis experiment. The goals of your experiment are listed here. And this is going to be an explain thing. It's not going to be identified. You need to explain these specific ideas that are being listed. There we go. So if you click on the osmosis and diffusion lab, we have lots of background information for you in this lab handout. Let's go back to the lab objective sheet. You are doing the diffusion activity on page 38 and the osmosis activity on pages 40 and 41. So if we go to page 38, here's page 37. Here's page 38 right here, page number 38. You'll be doing the diffusion activity and only the first part. So you'll be working with the agar plate and the potassium permanganate and methylene blue. We will not be doing effects of temperature on diffusion rates. We're also going to do osmosis on pages 40 and 41. So let's go back to pages 40 and 41. Here on page 40 we have osmosis and concentration gradient, where you will be filling up chunks of dialysis tubing, tying them off and letting them soak in a beaker. And then you can record your data here. And there are some review questions to fill in. Fill in these questions as you're working through this activity and practice making a graph. Bring your data tables and your graph to lab. And then we're also going to be doing an experiment on the size of a cell. This experiment has a procedure that's also available. Click on the procedure. I recommend that you print this off and bring it to lab. If you want to use a digital copy and edit it, you can do that as well. This includes necessary background information, our chemicals, safety environment information, the procedure, and your data tables, and then the optional review questions at the end. Just to review and refresh, these are optional questions. I am not going to collect them, and Ms. Laundrich will not be collecting them. So we have a computer simulation. We have one link that has 2 wet lab simulations, and then we have a 3rd wet lab simulation. These wet labs go fairly quickly. And then while you're waiting for things like osmosis to occur, you can pull out your microscopes and in your lab manual flip to exercise number 6, and you can look at different kinds of epithelial tissues on a microscope. After exercise number 6 in your lab manual, we have review questions 1, letters A through D. We also have linked a membrane transport video for you to help you understand membrane transport, how it relates to our PhysioX activity. And if you want to study digital histology, there's a lot of really great epithelial tissue slides at histologyguide.com for you to check out. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let Ms. Laundrich or I know, and we'll do our best to help you out. Have a good one.